Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to mourn the loss of a dear friend. When I first met Goats over a year ago in Season 3, it was on Temple of Anubis. The impossible happened somehow. I got matched with 5 other players that didn't want to play DPS. A North American contenders team reintroduced me to Goats about 6 months ago, and we've been inseparable ever since. Goats and I walked side by side through silver, through gold, and on into platinum. Shortly before Goats passed away, I looked back on where I had been, and I said, Goats, during my toughest matches, during my longest streaks, I noticed there's only one set of footprints. And Goats said to me, NPC, those are the times I carried you. I'm here today to let everyone know that you're not alone, and everyone is dealing with the loss of Goats in a different way. If you or someone you know is going through the stages of loss, we can help them together. The first stage of loss is denial. They're those players that say, Goats isn't dead. We can still run Goats. Goats is gone, and we need to move on. Goats would want you to move on. The second stage of grief is anger. The next time you're in a match and someone says a phrase like, I'm not getting enough healing, they're not lashing out at you. They're just upset at the loss of our dear friend Goats. The third stage is bargaining. It sounds a little bit like denial, but it's situational. Someone may say, oh, Goats is still OP on this map. They're not wrong, but they're not right either. Goats would want you to find a DPS and win the match. The fourth stage is depression, and that's where we find most of our support and tank mains today. Their SR is falling and falling out of control. They're losing match after match, and they're considering giving up the game completely. But I want you all to know that there is hope. Keep playing, keep grinding, and eventually you will find 2 or 3 new characters whose combos work, and they work well together, and you will win matches. You will begin to win matches again, I promise. And the final stage is acceptance. You'll find those heroes, those new mains, and you'll never really forget about Goats. But you'll start winning games again, and you'll be happy. And I think that's what Goats would want for us all. Finally, I would like to close this service by reading from the book of John the Baptist. Live from New York, it's the Iris Podcast!
It's the Iris Podcast with Lord Thuggington, Nick Saul, musical guest BethCon 2, and your host, Ski Free Yeti.
All right, welcome everybody. Week 11 of the Iris Podcast. I'm Ski for Yeti. First off, can we get some love for NPC for that awesome cold open in the chat? That was incredible. NPC coming through with some amazing production work there, giving a proper funeral to Goats because, thank God, it's gone. Joining me today, as always, in the upper left-hand corner, we have the now baby-faced, or mostly baby-faced, Thuggington. We have above me making her podcast debut is BethCon 2 from Solo Cup. And directly to my left, currently not revealing his face, but hopefully at some point, is Nick Saul from Illusion. Welcome, everybody. We are excited to give you the wrap on Week 10. We are now 2/3 of the way through the season. The playoff push is here, and we are going to start breaking down some matches, and we are going to fire it off here with Beth, actually, on the Harmony and Chaos and Aimbots match.
All right. So Harmony and Chaos looked really good this week. They had really good coordination. They used their ult super well. Maxix on Sombra, absolutely scary. And Shadow Fear on Ana was putting out absolutely tons of healing. Aimbot side, they have so many good pieces, and it's tough because they weren't just able to put them together the way they needed to pull out a win this week. They did have a couple of really good plays. Asian Lives Matter popped up on DPS. Just Savage had some good shatters. Pineapples had a back cap on second point of Junkertown that went forever. It was crazy. But in the end, unfortunately, it wasn't quite enough. Aimbots fall to Harmony and Chaos 4-0.
Yeah, Harmony and Chaos continuing to look as scary as they have all season, and another 4-0 for them, continuing to rise up the rank. And there's my daily desktop reveal, because I am a stuffed host. All right, we'll pass it off here now. Thug, you had
What up?
You had my match this week, which I wasn't a huge fan of the results, but you can go ahead with it. Meta Rejects and Gravity. By the way, yeah, Meta Rejects. Just saying.
It was close, wasn't it? Well,
It was I would say it was a close 4-0, but it was a 4-0.
It was. Man, Gravity continues to flex their muscle. With Orsted actually making a lot more appearances now, Orsted and Velzen actually like each other, which is really weird. And contrary to popular belief, Orsted isn't just a Brig main. So yeah, he's more of a Baptiste main now.
Yeah, Baptiste main, yeah.
But no, I think this is a good thing. I did see some good thing from Meta Rejects. The coordination is going to get there when you have a brand new pickup this late into the season. It might take some time to kind of build that coordination at that point. Missing Peter, 6G, SGE, 4T, LTE, popping a G6. When you miss that kind of ability, it's hard to go up against Gravity. So I think you guys are kind of at a disadvantage to begin with. But King's Row is probably my most fun match to watch. That was the closest, and it's a good sign of things to come for the new Meta Rejects with our fearless leader.
Yeah, what's so new about Meta Rejects? I don't understand.
I don't know. There's this really, really great guy. I want to tell you about it. I can't. Just go on.
Well, that got awkward. Anyways, we'll move it on here. So Meta Rejects again falling to Gravity 4-0. We're going to go now to another match here, a match that is close to my heart. The Fighting Potatoes taking on Meteors. Meteors badly needing a win to get back in the playoff hunt, and they did come out with a pretty convincing win 4-0. Oh, there's Nick. There we are.
Hey!
All right. We have again. It was a 4-0 for Fighting Potato, or for Meteors over Fighting Potatoes. Potatoes were hurting with some attendance problems this week. They had a sudden departure of one of their people that was unexpected just before this match, and then two of their people had to travel for work. So suddenly, when you're at 5, you have to bring in a sub. It just, any situation where the Fighting Potatoes could have pulled off their first win. They were behind the 8 ball in a big way, and it ended up showing. Meteors put on a good performance. There was some back and forth on Hanamura, where Fighting Potatoes definitely looked like they had a shot to take the map, but unfortunately it was a 4-0 for Meteors. Fighting Potatoes still scrapping for that first win. They got an opportunity this week against Liquid Nova. We'll see how it goes, but Meteors, very crucial win for them, getting that 4-0. Shout out to Emarosa on that team, really popped off on the Tracer, especially on Busan, really did a good job. And Gil also had a couple really crucial Sombra plays on Hanamura that ended up sealing that map for them. So 4-0 for Meteors, good job to them. And now we're going to go over to Nick. Nick, you had Liquid Nova and Havoc. It was a close match.
It was, yeah. First off, Havoc, I'm sorry. I think my predictions last week were Liquid Nova taking this 3-2. I was wrong. I think old Havoc is back. They've been back to dominating. It was clearly the funnest thing for me was watching Kings Row having it go 6-6, and then also seeing player back on main tank for a couple maps there. I think Liquid Nova needs to do more of that. I think that's how they're going to start to win. Player, if you're listening, I don't know why you're not playing the main tank. Just do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Old Havoc is back. Comms are clean. They're well coordinated, and they're just back to their old form. It's good to see.
Yeah, Liquid Nova still looking to get back in the hunt. They're only 2 games right now out of 10th place, so they're certainly not out of it with 5 to go. But they definitely need to get things in gear to get them there. They got a big opportunity this week against the Fighting Potatoes. Next, we'll be moving on to Beth. You were we're gonna save that one for last because that one's a really good one. We're gonna go over to Thug. You had a really close match actually between Solo Cup and Sugar Rush. Great match.
This was a fun match to watch. A good back and forth goes to basically third of the fifth mat, third round.
We all know what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying. Is a classic going against Sugar Rush on their new patented words are hard today. The 4 DPS comp. When it went to 5, I fully expected Sugar Rush to continue that dominance in that map type. And dude, switching the switch back to Winston on University was absolutely clutch. Light Rose popped the fuck off.
Yes.
It was absolutely insane. It was clutch. Listening to the comms, I watched Light Rose perspective for most of it too. And listening to the comms, the support that team gives each other, even when things are going a little bad, they don't collapse, they don't fall apart, and that's why they pull out those kind of wins. Great plays all around. Grumpy Pants just being Grumpy Pants, doing Grumpy Pants things. But I'm gonna give player of the match to Light Rose. He showed up. He had some huge shatters. Kid's pretty good at Overwatch.
Yeah, Sugar Rush. I'm sorry. Sugar Rush right now is in a little bit of a. I don't want to say a free fall, but they've dropped now a few straight. So it is. They do have some things that they need to get sorted out. I think their tank play has been a little weaker lately. I think that's definitely hurting that team. But they're continuing to try to get better, and I don't ever count out Sugar Rush, especially in this meta. But good for Solo Cup. They're putting themselves in a really good spot right now.
Yep.
Not going to dab on them today. Next match I have is Omnic Turtles and Illusion. Illusion is continuing to basically, I mean, they started the season 1-3. They are now 7-3. They've won 6 straight. They've won 6 straight in a fairly convincing manner. They're not just winning, they're dominating a lot of these games. Now, I look at this match here, I think a lot of this, there might have been some fire under Illusion because Gab did trash talk a little bit during last week's podcast.
A lot of
and I think Nick may have gotten the boys on Illusion a little bit pumped up for this one. Not that I can blame him necessarily for doing that. And they showed up in a big way. Illusion continues to just dominate. I know Gab was really trying to rally the troops back to try to squeeze out a couple maps there, but Omnic Turtles are struggling right now, and that's pretty clear. It looks like they're trying to make some changes to that roster a little bit as well. They've brought in Hooks R Us, who's a very good player. We'll see some more of him later in the top plays. Spoilers. They're just a team that I have a ton of faith in Gab as a leader, and I have a ton of faith in Gab as a player. Right now, he needs to get that roster, just needs to pick it up to that next step and really get their act together with regards to their communication and their ult coordination. Moving on to our final match in the recap here, and really the match of the week, just because of the upset. I don't want to talk about it.
What more can be said, really?
Yeah, we don't want to waste our time.
To everybody but Yeti.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I may have picked this last week. I'm just saying. A victory. Well, Beth, you take it.
All right. Yeah, this game was crazy. I don't know about you guys, but like the entire time I was watching it, I was on the edge of my seat. Like, it was crazy. It was intense. I don't know what like delivery has been working on with those guys, but they looked fantastic. Like, pretty good coordination, good rotations, good adjustments. Like Alt F4 looked like really good. Oh, Story's Sombra. Like, he was just making a mess of the backline the whole game. Almost uncontested. He and also their main tank, Silent Monkey. I wanted to mention him. Like, that was a huge pickup for them. Like, he's proven this week and last week that he deserves to be named with like some of the top main tanks in the league, in my opinion. But yeah, and on the Otaku side, let's see, what did I write down? Sorry, I took notes. I'm really nervous, guys.
No, don't worry about it. You're doing great.
On DPS, Smugs popping off like usual, making lots of really good plays. Again, we'll be seeing more of him later. Spoilers, guys. Hybrid put out tons of healing. Like, he got cards 3 of the games. I think I calculated out from the 3 he got cards, he was averaging like over 9,000 heals per 10 minutes or something like that.
Yikes.
But Yeah, he's crazy on the Ana.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole game, yeah, back and forth the entire time. Both teams were playing out of their minds, making huge plays. But in the end, F4 pulled out the 3-1 victory, and they proved that they're not a team to be overlooked in the run to the playoffs.
I don't want to say the word, but could you say that they perhaps have been underrated?
Probably, yeah. They're underrated.
All right, drink, fam. Anyways, I have to say that this one was big for me just because it was probably the coolest upset of the season, and the fact that it was the feature match was, early this season, Illusion beat Havoc, and at the time it was seen as a massive upset. As things have gone on, I don't think it's hard to call it an upset anymore because Illusion just looks too good, and like I can't. I would say Illusion right now is in a better shape than the Havoc, but that's just my 2 cents. So this was the upset of the season, and kudos to Alta for they seem to be getting their act together, and Otaku, they just lost Freedom, now Evo. They have a situation they need to sort out, and we'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting. We'll have to see what Smugs and Yojak can do to get that team back together. But that's the recaps for the week, guys. It was a fun week, week 10. In the Tranquility community here, we had a really exciting week. And one thing that did occur this week as well that I do want to spend some time talking about is the Ana Paintball tournament. It was a lot of fun. It was really hellacious to cast, borderline impossible to cast well, but I tried. And I do want to give a shout out to our winner, Guac from Sugar Rush. She was dominant on every single map. She won her qualifier, she won the top 12 final, and then she won the top 6 final, and each of them were relatively handily. She dominated in the final. She won by 7. It was a massive victory. Nerdables was I think a lot of people looked at Nerdables as a favorite coming in because obviously we've seen how good of an Ana he is. Like a 4,300 Ana player or a 4,200 Ana player, like he's insane. But
for sure,
Guac came out big. Guac was incredible, and congratulations to her pulling that one out. Courage in third from Havoc, Lays fourth from Sugar Rush, and fifth was Dank Club from Harmony and Chaos. And then our first actual support in the community itself for an active team in the community. I know Thug has strong feelings here.
I got feelings and I got words.
All right, well, it was a rise for Meteors in 6, but I'm gonna let Thug speak for a minute because he's got some things he wants to say.
I want to. Just because y'all are, oh, look at me, I'm in the Ana tournament, and I beat everybody. I beat all these stupid supports. I'm an Ana main now. You're not an Ana main now. Shut up.
So salty, dude.
I'm a little salty, okay? We get no love except from you, Yeti, sometimes.
Tanks should love their supports. I'm just saying.
They should, but they don't.
All right. Fair
it's
enough.
Like, oh, did you see that fat shatter I got?
Right.
Oh, did you see the
all right, old man, we get it. All right, moving on here. We're going to get to our power rankings for the week, guys. We did skip them last week, so there's a lot of movement going on here. Let's have a look to see how things shook out. As you can see, our week 8 power rankings here, we had Otaku on the top, but obviously with their loss, we did see some shuffling here, and some pretty significant shuffling. And the first one I noticed is Harmony and Chaos, obviously at the top. But the one that jumped the biggest this week on the top 10 was Illusion, moving from 8th to 4th. Nick, you got your boys going in pretty good shape here. Are you seeing any other things that stick out to you on these power rankings?
It's just about time that Illusion's in the top 5.
He ain't wrong.
He ain't
wrong.
He ain't wrong. I'm not gonna lie. Thug, anything stand out to you?
I kind of echo the sentiments of Nick here. About time, guys. Illusion has to, at a certain point, Illusion has to, well, we'll see. One more week. They'll have to prove themselves. Illusion has fucking proven themselves repeatedly.
Mm-hmm.
Their start has absolutely nothing to do with where they are right now. That's just a good idea of a team coming together, making things happen, improving together. But yeah, I don't be surprised to see Illusion moving up another couple spots this week as well.
Oh, no question. Anything stand out to you, Beth?
Honestly, not a whole lot. The rankings are pretty much what you would expect going into this. The top 3 are still super close, even though they're ranked in order, but they're still all 8 and 2. Yeah, I think that this is a pretty good representation of the power rankings for the community at this point.
Definitely. It's interesting to see how things have been going here. Last thing I want to show off real quick, something that actually Spooderman whipped up. So thank you, Spooderman. Was kind of a strength of schedule for everyone to look at here. And what this is the average map differential for your upcoming opponents. As we can see here, Army and Chaos, they're 8-2 right now, but they have the toughest schedule coming up here. They have a Murderer's Row coming up. They have Gravity. That's going to be a massive match this week. Coming up later this season, they have Solo Cup, they have Wrecking Crew, they have Otaku still, and then on top of all that, we're going to throw in Meteors at the end of the season. I'm sorry, they already played. Yeah, they already played Meteors. My mistake. Harmony and Chaos just has a really tough schedule coming up, so it's going to be interesting to see where they're at. And then looking at the bottom of the schedule here, we're looking at teams trying to make a playoff push. Alt F4, Meteors, Liquid Nova. I mean, it's kind of interesting to see. You guys are hanging out right near the bottom of strength of schedule here. You got some maybe considered easier matches coming up. So it's going to be big for your teams. How are you feeling about that, Thug, given your team situation?
We talked a little about it today. We're trying not to look too far in advance.
Mm-hmm.
We're taking in one match at a time. Meteors is next, and we're focusing all our efforts on Meteors. But I'm not going to lie, we are looking a little bit further ahead to see kind of who we have there, who are these must-wins. For us, this week's going to be a must-win. So we're concentrating on Meteors, trying not to focus too much on what we can't control.
We're going to be looking forward to the playoffs here, guys. Coming weeks, we'll be doing playoff pictures every week to describe just kind of how things are shaking out. Because starting next week, we're going to see people actually officially clinch spots in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's cool.
So expect to look for. We're going to be looking forward to that, guys. Moving on, we do have an exciting segment here. Podcast has now been going for 10 weeks. It's been a lot of fun. I know Thug and I have been doing this every week. It's been an absolute blast for us. But let's face it, we've said some things that maybe looking back on it probably deserve a little bit of further review, guys.
Quite possibly.
Quite possibly. Maybe we're a little wrong on some of the things we said. So I think we should spend some time looking back at these things. Now, I do have some clips, but this first one doesn't have a clip coming with it here. It's from week 1. It was the Dad cast. It was Thug and Yeti doing the first cast solo. And we made a prediction. Season 2 champions. Both of us named Sugar Rush, their top option. Sugar Rush right now sits at 5-5. Thug, you made that call. Let's go to you first. How are you feeling about it? Well, we made that call together. So.
Yeah, no, we did it together. I'm less confident in my previous statement. However, I'm not wrong yet.
No, you're not wrong.
Here. I'm not wrong yet. Like you said before, Sugar Rush has some things they're trying to work out. They hit the scene, they hit Overwatch Tranquility community really hard with a lot of really strange comps, a lot of flexibility. There wasn't a lot of tape on them, so people are a little confused. I don't know. I'm less confident in my statement before, but I'm still not wrong. I'm not wrong until I'm fucking wrong, dude.
Now, Nick, when you hear somebody saying Sugar Rush week 1, what are you thinking at this point? Are you thinking maybe Sugar Rush is falling down that hierarchy a little bit?
Can I not comment?
Ooh.
Listen, they're a good team. I just don't see. I think there was a lot of hype given the preseason tournament about them. Yeah, they started off strong. I think now is where they're going to have to prove to themselves and to us that all of that preseason hype was right, bounce back and, gain that map differential, gain that above 500 record and just continue to show us why those preseason predictions were that they'll be season 2 champs.
Beth, what are you thinking here?
Sugar Rush is still a really strong team. We beat them this week, but it wasn't an easy victory by any stretch of the imagination. And with the new patch, DPS are going to be really strong. And as we all know, they love running those quad DPS comps. Dude. So there's still a chance. You're not wrong till you're wrong.
That's completely true. That could apply to all these statements, but make a stand, dang it. Make a stand, dang it. It's not fun unless we're making a stand and saying things that make people angry at us. Week 2, we are going to take a look here at a little clip from our old buddy Mighty Bear, Cryptic Force. Let's take a quick peek.
Mighty Bear.
on this real quick. I know I wasn't here last week, but everyone was going over who we were talking about winning. I don't know why everyone's sleeping on Havoc. Havoc's not dead. Goats is strong, and even then, you're probably going to bounce back. I know Nerdable as well. He's going to be a great coach. I think everyone's sleeping on Havoc. I personally am taking him to win it all. I'm going to say it.
That's fair.
It's like when you root for the Patriots, everyone roots for the people who play the Patriots because they want to see the opposing team go down.
Yep. Sure. All right, so Cryptic making a big call there on week 2. We basically said, why are we talking about anybody else? Havoc's still the champs. Havoc obviously not having the same season they did last year. Beth, when you're hearing people saying these things now about Havoc, are we still seeing them as a top contender, or are we starting to think, you know what, maybe they're falling down that tier?
It's kind of a hard call to make. They're obviously not having a completely dominant season. They've fallen down a little bit from where they were. And again, with the patch changing a little bit, Goats may not be as strong as it once was. We still have to see where that all shakes out with Baptiste and everything once players kind of get a beat on what the comps are going to look like with this patch. But they're still in the playoff race. It'll be interesting to see what happens when the playoffs get here. I'll just leave it at that.
Thug, what do you think? Make a stand, Thug.
I'm so non-committal.
Havoc's had a lot of turnover and rapid turnover this season, and I'm not going to count him out because Nerdables is a hell of a coach. He's a really, really smart guy. They just got to get a team that's together all the time and playing together all the time. Cryptic saying Goats is strong. Cryptic will always say Goats is strong. Always. Forever. So that's not a surprise. But we'll see what this patch does. It usually takes a little bit of time for these metas to shake out a little bit. But Goats has been, maybe it's not dead, but it's crippled. And it's easier to kind of manipulate around it. So we'll still see. Goats still has a place, and Goats is going to have a place in a lot of maps and a lot of comps, and especially at this ELO. What pros are running aren't always going to be what we're running, but I'm not going to say they're going to win it. They're not the same team to me.
I can understand that. Nick, do you have any takes on that we haven't heard already?
Not really. I think I agree with that. It's hard to count Havoc out.
Yeah.
I don't see them winning it all. I see them making it far into the playoffs, but I don't see them winning it all.
I want to point out that Gil in the episode 3 of the podcast made the statement that Havoc wasn't going to get out of the first round of this. So another hot take there. We'll see if that actually comes to fruition. I made a statement in week 3, though, a statement that was met with a lot of side eye when I first said it.
You make a lot of statements that are met with a lot of side eye.
Yeah, I know I do. Thanks. We're going to take a look here. Week 3, we were chatting about the Meta Rejects Fighting Potatoes game, and let's have a little listen.
DPS of that caliber. I would wager, based on what I've seen so far, that he could easily be one of the best DPS in this community by the end of the season. I will go ahead and say it right now, and he will be one of the people that brings Meta Rejects very far this season.
So there we say it, guys. I made a prediction about one Peter 6G 4G LTE. Now, obviously, done pretty darn well. Curious to see what you guys think on it. Nick, when I make a statement like Peter's the best DPS in the community, what do you have to say to that?
Maybe not the best, but I agree with you that he's one of the best. I think you hit the nail on the head on that one.
Take a stand. Bug, what do you think?
100% agree.
Best DPS?
It's going to be...
Take a stand.
He's the best DPS in the league. Mainly because you forced me into it.
Well, yeah, it's part of the fun.
I haven't seen a lot of Peter SGE, 4G, LTE, 69 Pog U. I don't know. I haven't seen enough of them on other heroes, so it's hard for me to say that. But we'll see if the next 5 weeks shake out and see what happens.
Do you have a different name that you would mention as the best DPS? I'm just kind of curious.
Velzen. He is probably the most flexible.
I could see that being fair.
We haven't seen Velzen in his final form, dude. You still haven't seen it. He's been stuck on Zarya.
I could see that being fair.
And he's fucking destroying people.
Beth, what do you think?
I agree that Peters is one of the best DPS in the community. But it's really tough because we have so many strong DPS and they really haven't had their chance to shine yet. So patch coming out, I think we're going to start to see some some better differentiation between them. But yeah, I actually don't think I've ever seen Velzen really play DPS just because I wasn't around last season. So it'll be interesting to see how things shake out with that in the upcoming weeks.
All right, so we're moving on here. We've made some talk on week 5. Week 5 was the big one. Week 5 was bold predictions. Week 5 is when we pissed everyone off. But we have a prediction here from Thug, and I think this one's a really good one. So I want to bring it up for sure.
Semifinals, top 4 teams in the last playoffs is going to be all brand new teams. All of these old dogs, and I'm not talking about the rebranded Gravities and for
Talking about brand new teams, right? Brand new to the league. They're gonna be the top 4 teams, I think.
Right there, that's a big statement at the time, and I think, obviously with Gravity still being up there, there's still potential here. Things have kind of shaken out that way, guys. We're seeing a lot of those top teams: Illusion, Otaku, Meta Rejects. Now also throw in Sugar Rush. That doesn't even it's crazy to see that right now. So I want to get some takes on that, guys. We're talking these top 4 all new teams. Is that still feasible? We're seeing Sugar Rush kind of falling by the wayside a little bit. So Beth, or do you think that prediction kind of holds up, or do you think it's kind of all hogwash at this point?
I don't think we're going to see all 4 new teams in the Final Four for the playoffs. I think Gravity and Harmony and Chaos are still really strong. I want to think that Solo Cup has a good shot at being there too, just because we've been really gelling really well these last couple of weeks. Do I think that they're going to be at least half new teams? Yes, I think at least 2 people will be new teams. But other than that, I think it's anybody's game.
Thug, you made the statement before. Do you want to back off it?
A little bit. 3 of the 4 will be new. I still stand by. There's one prediction floating out there, just floating. And I said it a while ago, and now everyone's finally starting to agree with me about a little team called Illusion. I'm just saying. But I say 3 of the 4, maybe not all 4, but yeah, we'll see what happens.
I will say Thug was one of Illusion's first true believers, other than probably Nick and the rest of his team, of course. But Thug did also say in week 5, Illusion will make the finals. That's looking possible, very possible right now. Nick, how do you feel about hearing when 4 new teams all in the Final Four? Do you think that's kind of gone by the wayside now, or do you think that that's still likely given what's going on?
I don't think it's likely. Mm-hmm. I think you cannot sleep on Harmony and Chaos. Like, they're 8-2 right now. Like, how do you not pick them to be either in the semis or in the finals? Gravity are also looking really strong. I think it's going to be a split. It's going to be Harmony and Chaos. I think the top 4 teams right now are the top 4 teams in the semis.
I would definitely agree. I think at this point, 4 new teams won't be in the Final Four. I think it's going to be hard to unseat Gravity, and I also think that both Solo Cup and Harmony and Chaos are going to also be in that same. I think it's going to be a mess once we get to top 8, guys. Like, it's going to be
exciting.
It's going to be exciting. There's so much parity. It's really fun. And now with Otaku seeming more vulnerable, all of a sudden, the parity I think is even more realized. Anyways, all new teams was certainly interesting. Let's go to another prediction here I made, and I think this one may touch some people in a very, very sensitive, in a very unfortunate.
What kind of podcast is this?
Yeah, well, I just
people in a very sensitive area.
No, in a very sensitive way.
I can't wait for this meetup.
In a very sensitive manner, because I may have said some things that people may have gotten a little salty for and may have screamed my name at the end of a victory, because they were so upset with me. I'm not trying to hint at anything, perhaps, but.
You guys still aren't making the playoffs.
So I have not lived that down. I have not lived that down since I made that prediction. It was bold. It was bold at the time. And boy, was I wrong on that one. I'm just going to make this one quick. Show of hands, does anybody around the table think that Solo Cup is not going to make the playoffs? All right, so now that we've established that.
I was like, Thug.
That was very indecisive, Doug.
Yeah.
Make a decision.
Yeah.
They're
stand.
making the playoffs. They're making the playoffs.
No, I have
For
something to say. I have something to say right now. No, they're going to make the playoffs. I'm not doing it again.
Now you jinxed us. Dang it.
Yeah, I know, right? They're making the playoffs. There's no question about it here. I mean, let's be realistic, guys. There's no chance they're not. They're playing too good. They haven't lost since, as Light Rose is pointing out in the chat. They haven't lost a match since I made that call. Maybe I'm responsible for this. I'm just saying.
In a way, I think you kind of are. We play better when we're underdogs.
Yeah,
so.
so now you guys are, in my opinion, one of the favorites to win the whole damn thing.
Stop it.
Oh, yeah, now what?
Super favorites, dude.
yeah.
I would say top team.
Yeah, at least
in the finals.
Easily the best. Easily the best. Yeah, I'm the shadow leader of Solo Cup. Take that, Zerby. Yeah, he'll love that one later. Last one really quick here, guys. Harmony and Chaos. Obviously we've seen a lot of them. The rise of Harmony and Chaos has been one of the top stories of the season. Looked at the beginning of the season as kind of one of those middling teams. Look where they are now, folks. We had NPC on for our buy and sell segment a few weeks ago, and he said the following here.
I'm going to sell this one. I don't think it's possible. I mean, I said it before in my rankings. I think their tank line has to step up, be a little bit more aggressive, and play up there with their DPS.
NPC shot down the idea of Harmony and Chaos being a legitimate threat to take this thing down.
Mistakes were made.
Mistakes were made. I want to hear what you guys had to say on that, Nick. Is that how are we feeling now about saying Harmony and Chaos is not a legitimate threat?
That is 100% wrong. They are a threat, they are scary, and they definitely have a good shot at winning it all this season.
Mm-hmm.
I would agree. Thug, are you feeling? I'm assuming you're nodding your head. I'm assuming, yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
I mean, not Yeti. Wow, the other main tank that's in this podcast, one of the 17. He may have excellent production value and do a great job with that shit, but he was dead wrong.
Yeah.
Harmony and Chaos is legit. Sorry, NPC. I love you, buddy. You have the best shirt rip next to Hulk Hogan, but you're wrong, man.
It was a great segment, I would say. And he that cold open he did earlier, NPC, God,
that was
so good. Beth, what do you think about Harmony and Chaos right now?
They're obviously a threat. I mean, they're at the top of the power rankings for a reason. Yeah. that was not a correct prediction.
I think I may have fired up that matchup just a little bit more. We'll be talking about Harmony and Chaos and Gravity.
That's going to be a hell of a match.
God, I can't wait for that one. It's not a feature match, which is crazy. That tells you about the other match we have. Is a really good one, too. But anyways, we'll talk about that a little bit more later, guys. That was some statements in review. Pretty interesting to look back on some of the stupid things we've said in the past. Right now, after that segment here, we were going to be having a little interview with some members from Ascension, but unfortunately, one of them, also known as Nerdables, has not awakened from a nap or something along those lines, and is currently not here. So we do have one person on, but we're going to take a quick look. Ascension, again, guys, if you don't know, because you've been living in a freaking cave, Ascension is effectively our, I want to call it a graduate team from the community. And we're going to take a look at their roster right now.
Here we go.
Alright, the shark. Oh my god.
The shark. All right, we are welcoming in. Everybody knows him. Some may have not have heard him before, but we have with us the guy who was the MVP of Season 1 for the Tranquility community, and not just a Brig main. We have Orsted from
Hello.
Gravity and Ascension. Welcome, Orsted. First off, I want to ask a little bit about how Ascension got its start. Now, it didn't start as Ascension, right?
No, not at all.
Yeah. So how did you guys initiate? How did you guys get started as a group?
All right. So I think it was right after season 1 of Tranquility finished, and Velzen and myself, we both wanted to almost either form a team or join one that was at a much higher level than we are currently playing on. So we just decided to try and form one of like the best people of like we thought at the time in Tranquility. Still agree with who we picked, but who'd we get originally? So I know we had Fate. We really wanted Fate on the team.
Mm-hmm.
We get Fate. Fate brings in Slade, who is his friends, and because this was like the start of Goats meta,
right?
They were really good. They like played a lot together as like off tank, main tank. So they had so much synergy. We're like, we have to go with that. We also got in Cryptic because originally, no offense against Cryptic, but we honestly did not think Fate was a main tank.
I almost spit took. No offense against Cryptic, but I was a little surprised. I wasn't ready for you to say that for some reason.
Really? Yeah. So yeah, okay, but oh god, where was I? Yeah. Anyways, yeah, we didn't know Fate was a main tank, but you know. He was, and so unfortunately, Cryptic. We still played him. He just didn't get that much play time. And then of course we got Nerdables as well. That was such a good choice, and things kind of just took off from there. Oh, team name by the way.
Yeah.
We were trying to sign up for a tournament, and Cryptic was trying to figure out how to figure out the team's average SR.
Sure.
Okay.
Gosh, why'd you trust him to do
mistake?
Mistakes were made.
So he's like to the Discord admins for the tournament. He's like, "How do I figure out our average SR?" And then
in chat.
He's in the chat.
Wait, it gets better. It gets better. Okay. And then they're like, "Wait, don't you know algebra?" It's just simple math. And oh my god, so we named ourselves Algebra 2 for some reason. I don't know why, but like, origins of the team name. I love you, Cryptic, by the way.
We all love Cryptic. Cryptic is the support
just one
god.
moment. I have somebody in the background talking to me. Just give me 1 second here, and I'll figure that out.
No, you're good. In the meantime, while he's going off doing that, can we get some Cryptic Forces of support mains in the chat, please? That would be, or support god, pardon me. Cryptic Forces support god.
Not a main, but God.
No, support god. Get it right.
All right. Not bad.
No, it's all good. So Algebra 2 was the first name.
Correct. It was the first name.
The humble origins.
Oh yes. This is when Goats was first starting out, and I gotta say, we were so scuffed. Like we were good, I guess, because we were like all individually good players, but like, God, were we scuffed. And somehow we like did really well in like scrims, and then our open division. Oh yeah, so even more scuffed is our scheduling. A certain man named Velzen thought he signed us up for open division, but little did we know he actually didn't. He forgot to press the button locking in our roster, and so we missed like 3 or 4 of our games. Oof. But then we won like almost all of them after that somehow, until we went up against that top 500 team. But that was honestly the biggest learning experience for us, was going against a team that was like at the pinnacle. I won't say pinnacle, but like, maybe like the top like 20, 30, 40 whatever teams in Overwatch right now. And it really showed us like, it made our weaknesses like so glaringly obvious that we just rewatched the VOD and we like all sat around for like hours, just like brainstorming, like, oh, what should we have done here? What did they do better than what we did? And
Sure.
I don't know. We just had so much like passion to like learn and improve together. And yeah, I don't know. I kind of went off tangent. I don't know. Where am I?
No, it's all good. It's all good. This is good stuff. This is good stuff. Beth,
Good
do you have a
stuff.
question for Orsted here? Put you on
Sure.
the spot.
All right. So moving, you said you pulled in some people. When did you start deciding to bring in members of the Tranquility community, and how has that affected the team going forward? I guess.
Well, we decided to do that once we lost Fate. Fate decided to go off and I don't know. Actually, he went and did something. I don't know.
He's still
So we
around.
lost Fate.
I still talk to him
Yeah,
from time to time.
we needed a main tank, but we also needed a larger roster because trying to organize scrims and games and schedules with only 6 people was a nightmare. And so we decided to do the whole Ascension thing and tryouts, and oh my god, it spiraled out of control. And here we are.
You guys have brought in a lot of names from the community. Obviously, we saw in that video, Dunzo wasn't an original on the team, right? He was an addition. Yeah.
He was an addition.
He was an addition. HQC, Lays, Horus. I have to ask, how are these new guys not only just impacting your roster size and like making it easier for you to scrim, but like are they bringing more to the team than you originally had expected?
That's a really good question. It's been honestly so far, it's been really hard to just like see that impact.
Mm-hmm.
We've really kept kind of like a core 6 of Dunzo, myself, Velzen, Nerdables, Arise, and Slade.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of the core because we want to keep like, I mean, of course we have the most playtime together already.
Right.
It's just kind of building off that. Having all these other amazing players on the team, though, almost makes all of us feel though that we like have to really step it up, constantly be on a game. I almost feel like maybe it's just me, but like I need to constantly play as well as I possibly can so I don't lose my spot. It's that much, but we're all a big team.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like we have like a primary roster at this point.
And that is my cat.
And a secondary
Sorry.
roster.
That's all good. Yeah, every Overwatch League team has a primary roster, so I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah. Go on, sorry.
oh, sorry. Oh no, you go ahead. I don't know what I'm saying.
It's all good.
You go ahead.
Thug, do you have any questions you want to talk? Anything you want to ask him about?
So what are your thoughts on Brigitte? I'm just kidding. You don't have to answer that. I'm sorry.
Oh
No. Like you said, the pressure to perform, even though being kind of one of the members that helped create Ascension,
Mhm.
maybe not in this form, but not. Describe your process of kind of evaluating the players that you brought onto the team through the tryouts. I know the tryouts were massive. It was a really cool thing that you guys did with the community. Help explain kind of what things you were looking for. This might be good things for people that are maybe looking to join the possibly expanded season 3 of Tranquility Community. So what kind of things were you looking for? Were you looking for specific hero pools, specific play styles, com styles, something like that?
A lot of it was the play style of the players and their mechanical skills, positioning was not the primary thing, at least I was looking for in myself.
Sure.
I know it was for maybe I don't know exactly the order of importance for Velzen and Nerdables and their picking of players, but for myself that's what it was. It wasn't the first. Probably like comms and like personality. It's so much easier to work with somebody that wants to work with you than just do their own thing.
So you're saying getting mad repeatedly in comms is a bad thing?
Yeah, surprisingly, that doesn't help anything.
That doesn't work.
Don't be ridiculous.
I know it works in real life.
Yeah, get out of
It
here.
work there.
Get out of town. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Yeah, so communication being number one. What?
Communication was certainly number one, and it may sound biased for me to say that. Like myself, I'm not the most talkative person in comms, but I don't cloud them. I don't try to be negative. I just try to say what's important at the time.
Sure.
And I don't know. That's the most I can do. But certainly there was some people that just had standout performances that we could not ignore. And yeah, I don't know. So yeah, that's about all I can say. I don't know what else more to say.
Nick, did you have any questions you wanted to ask Orsten?
Thug actually stole my question.
Oh, what a jerk!
I'm gonna ask.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What do you guys do to continuously push yourselves to kind of get to that next level? Like you were saying, having to play against that top 500 team. Like, what do you guys as a team do to be able to like bring yourselves up and compete with a team on that level, and do it, and be able to do it competitively and just not get wiped?
Right.
I'm not saying you guys do get wiped. I'm just saying because we had
it happens,
match
dude.
as well. we just got destroyed, and yeah. So we're in that same boat of trying to figure out what we need to do as well to bring our game to that level.
So right now, I'll just tell you what we're doing currently with the whole meta changing. We're trying to do like one of two things. One, try to make goats work some way. Still, because I know it's horrible to say, but for one, it's not a bad comp. It's just a weakened comp, and it can still be really strong. We just have to play it differently. And there are certainly teams that still do it, especially in contenders, which is the other point. We've been watching contenders and any other tournament live that's at a higher level to see if they're playing much of the same thing that we think is going to be happening. Like try to look for strategies, how they play it. It also, a big thing is set plays. Like I don't know how to describe it, but like as we played more and more as a team, we would find ourselves in the same position over and over again, and we would either having it done to ourselves or figuring out just on the spot, doing one specific thing in that moment, like as like a set play. Like we'd set it up, like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Almost like a grab diva bomb. Like I guess you could say that's a set play, or say a certain flank that forces them to go into a corner and then we grab them. Whatever, just kind of things like that. We haven't really like talked about it either of like actually doing that, but I noticed it myself. Like it's something we started to do just automatically, and it's like each map we played, it would be played the same way and we'd do the same thing and we'd win it because we just did these little things the same that worked before. I don't know.
I feel like we're just starting to see that become kind of an evolution of this game in general, is set play. I heard that being talked about by pros in the Overwatch League now. Is this idea of like a set play, and initially I'm like, how the fuck do you do a set play in Overwatch? Like that doesn't make any sense, but it makes perfect sense.
Right.
Like
yeah,
I never really thought about that. We're running really short on time here, so I do want to get to the next question. One last question here, and for those of you who aren't aware, Ascension had a massive tournament win a few weeks back in the Expendables tournament, taking out, was it a 4.4 average team?
I think it was 4.2.
4.2, and you guys were 3.6 at the time, right?
Yeah, 3.6 average.
Yeah, so I mean, like they're playing incredible. There was a really fun match to watch. They didn't play goats. Gotta point that out. They didn't play goats.
Oh, yeah.
Some of they were playing. They had Nerdables on Afara, which I just
we pulled out the quad DPS and
it worked.
Outperformed them.
Y'all brought it.
Interesting.
And you guys had your first open division match last night, correct? Or was it last night or 2 nights ago?
First two.
Oh, first two.
Saturday, Sunday, yeah.
Okay, and you guys took both of those, correct?
Yep, and didn't drop a map.
Y'all doing too good, man. Keep following Ascension, guys. We'll be looking for the community wants to throw their full support behind them. Let's keep watching them rise and ascend up the open division ladder here. And I'm sorry.
That was a full dad joke. I'm so happy.
Yeah, I know. You're welcome.
I feel so great. I mean, dad to another dad.
Yeah,
joke.
I know. I got that one good. So Orsted, thanks for joining us here, and thanks for flying solo. You found out you were doing this interview about like 4 hours ago, and
yeah,
we appreciate it,
dude.
Initially,
I thought
initially we were gonna have both Nerdables and Velzen. Velzen had something come up earlier today, and Nerdables, I don't know. So Orsted, thanks for
now he's gone. I don't know, dude.
Yeah, or Nerdables is just disappeared. So we're gonna move on to the fun stuff, guys. We're gonna move on to the top 5. And I had complained earlier in the week, I need more plays. I only had like 3 at the time. I asked for that, and then I ended up with over 20. So y'all listened. Thank you for that. But also thank you for making me decide between like 22 ridiculous freaking plays. I couldn't narrow it down past 8. So I have 8. Here they are, guys. The top 8 plays of Week 10 for the Tranquility community. We are starting off with Liquid Nova's support main Crossfade playing the Moira. We do see him take a shatter here. This looks like an absolute team wipe, but honestly, Crossfade comes up huge here with some really good heals. Obviously, Moira throws out a ton of healing and then follows it up with really good balancing out the damage. Takes out a couple of players on his own. And really just closes out on the McCree, and then also works on putting a lot of damage into that Ana as well. It was a really good play. Definitely turned that fight, which looked horrible when it first started. We have Jewish Missile from Ascension with a really cheeky little flank shatter, taking out pretty much the entirety of Omnic Turtles in one fell swoop. It was a really good play by Jewish Missile, and he's a very frequently makes an appearance on this top 5. Day Club from Harmony and Chaos on the Genji. Day Club doesn't get as much talk as Maxix and Garbaggio, but probably should. Really good play here on the Genji, taking out 3 on his own and then helping finish off that Orisa. We have Hooks Are Us from Omnic Turtles, one of the mid-season pickups we talked about as well. We have a Junkrat play, and it's a Junkrat play that doesn't involve pressing Q. Basically just coming in, swooping in on the Shatter, and just throwing down all the damage he possibly could, and then taking out the Ashe at the end. 4 basically on his own. Really well played by Hooks Are Us. We have at Dim Tree from Gravity coming in here on this Zarya play. Obviously, Gravity had a really big week. They had a lot of top play nominees on their team, and I ended up going with Dim Tree. And it was a really good play by Dim there, getting that 4K there. Then we have Emarosa from Meteors playing the Tracer on Busan. One really good pulse bomb, and there they go. Fighting Potatoes get blown up, and that is all she wrote, to quote my friend Kingdom. And then we have Smugs from Otaku. This was from the feature match. We see him pop the Deadeye here, and then Freedom comes in on the big smash, knocks 3 up into the air, and the 3 underneath get taken down. It was a really good play there, really good coordination. The comms there, they were calling out that play live as it happened. It was really cool. And then they have Lays here from Sugar Rush. Lays is the Tracer, basically also one of the DPS from Ascension. And we see a really good Tracer play here, closing out several kills on their own. We see Lays is the only one from Sugar Rush in the kill feed there. Did a really good job closing that one out. Obviously, guys, we had a lot of really good plays here. I do want to take it back to you 5 to make some decisions here. Nick, who is your top play of choice?
Can I be biased?
I mean, I'm fine with bias.
That was a big slam from Missile. That won us the map. I can't not vote for that.
There's so many people salty in chat right now. I'm sorry. So Judas Missile gets 1 vote here. Thug, go ahead.
I am going with Smugs. It was huge. And the thing is, I talked to him afterwards, and you listen to the comments. That was a plan. Like, that was the planned play.
Mm-hmm.
McCree Doomfist combo. The fuck?
Yeah, I know, right?
It was huge. It was huge. And I know, talking to the boys too, they were basically right after that happened in chat, like, send that to the podcast. Send that to the podcast. That was huge, dude. That was awesome. So that was huge. That was the coordination of those two heroes together was brilliant. So, Smugs.
Orsted, I want to hear what you have to say here.
Ooh. Now I'm torn. I'm torn between 2. I'm torn between Jewish Missile and Emarosa. I think that was his name, right?
Yeah.
Meteors, Tracer 4K Tracer Bomb.
Yeah, that was the 4K
I gotta
Tracer
respect a 4K Tracer Bomb as a Tracer player myself. Okay.
You're going with that? Oh, sorry, go on.
Now both of them were game-winning plays, but oh god, I'm gonna be biased and say Emarosa. I gotta go with it.
That's fine with me. We have an Emarosa, we have a Juice Missile, and we have a Smugs. Let's go Bethcon.
All right. So for me, I was kind of torn between Hooks RS and Smugs. Like Hooks RS, that Junkrat jump over the top of Hranamura, getting to go down and just completely take out everybody who had been shattered, which was a good setup by his teammate.
Yeah.
But man, McCree Deadeye with the Doomfist knock up in the air, and the fact that they'd planned it out and everything, I've got to give it to Smugs and Freedom on Otaku.
On my last vote here, I am also going to go with Smugs. I was torn between the Smugs play and also the Hooks Are Us play. It wasn't just killing them; it was also the going up and over the top, getting the right angle. It was just smart, intelligent Junkrat play, and doing it without a Q on a Junkrat is always a nice thing to see. Because so many times, obviously we see Mousy from the Fighting Potatoes hitting massive Junkrat tires. That's cool, that's great, but there's technical skill involved in that, but there's not as much skill as there was involved in closing out those kills that they did in that close range situation. So for me, I'm still going to go with Smugs, though. That was just a really brilliant play from those guys. I know Freedom did a really good job, but I have to give a shout out to Smugs and Freedom for that one. So Smugs, congratulations, top play of Week 10. You will be receiving those skins once we hit the next holiday event. I have a back order of those people who are needing them, so we'll be in touch with you guys when we get there. I've just been informed of something very interesting. It is Nixal's birthday.
No. It's actually not.
It's actually not. It's
No,
actually not.
No.
Well, then I won't embarrass you.
I was gonna sing to you.
Somebody's gotta take him out to dinner so you can get a free dessert or something here, so they can sing to him. That's what I want to see. Just embarrass him. God.
Jewish Missile saying he's lying. Kitty Baka saying he's lying.
Oh.
We have a lot of you're lying.
I don't know what to believe.
Nick knows he's lying too.
Do I have to pull out like an ID card and like ask you guys?
All right. We'll move on. We're running over time anyway. So let's knock down some predictions here now, guys. The predictions graphics are going to have a couple of names on here who weren't here, and I'm going to ask for everybody once this podcast is over. We're going to put some copy pasta into the Overwatch Tranquility's Iris podcast discussion area for our dear friend Nerdables. Something about his sleep dart being reflected, I think, is what I want to go with. I don't know yet. Just stay tuned, guys. I'll get some copy pasta in there. Please make sure we're pinging the fuck out of him. I want to make him feel this one a little bit. I'm not a bitter host, am I? Nah.
Just all of it.
So Aimbots and Havoc is the first match I want to cover here. And the entire squad went with Havoc here, varying between myself at a 4-0 and Thug down to the 3-2. Thug, what are you seeing when you look at this matchup here? I know the old adage of "don't sleep on the aimbots." Is that what you're feeling?
Yep, don't sleep on aimbots. They're not. They're just kind of scuffed, like not in a bad way. The team is, they're just kind of scuffed. There's days where it's like, oh, dude, they got this now, and you see other matchups like, were y'all just like sharing with pineapples today, or what's up? What are you guys doing? So it's gonna be close. It's gonna be close.
This one for me is a clear 4-0 for Havoc. I just think Havoc is just ready to ascend again to the pinnacle of the community. I don't think they're gonna be there yet, but I think Aimbots is just an unfortunate victim in their way. That's just kind of how it's gonna be. I think. It's kind of an interesting situation. Orsted, you weren't on this graphic. I want to hear what you have to say about these guys.
Okay, so first of all, I have a question. I need to refresh my memory because I don't remember. Who did Havoc play last week?
Last week they played Liquid Nova and 1-3-1.
Liquid Nova. Okay. So if Havoc plays anything like they played against Liquid Nova, it's gonna be like the most scuffed game I've ever seen in my life, because I was rewatching the VOD with Nerdables of his team play. No offense to Havoc, but some of the shenanigans I watched, oh my god. I mean, my team's the same, but like, oh my god, I just don't know. Anything could happen, but I think Havoc is going to be stronger at the end of the day. So 3-2.
I do want to quickly mention one thing, and it was brought to my attention. Liquid Nova pulled off the most hilarious back cap I think I've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god. I can only imagine. Like, I was listening to Liquid Nova's comms on that one, and they were like, I don't even know if they realize that. I believe it was Squash Head from their team was off on the cart, because I heard them like reset everybody back in spawn, because they were getting spawn camped by Havoc, and all of a sudden like I hear somebody in comms like, dude, I'm getting it, and like it was like 30 seconds of him on the cart without Havoc realizing that it was happening. It was great. One of the best legitimate C9s that I think I've ever seen, or back caps I think I've ever seen from the community in general. So that was cool to watch. But anyways, we're all thinking the same thing on that one. We're all going Havoc. I want to go now to the match that I am really excited about seeing this week, which is Harmony and Chaos and Gravity. And we are a little bit split on this one. We do see myself. I'm going 4-0 for Harmony and Chaos. But I want to hear what Nick has to say about this one. You picked a 3-2 win for Harmony.
I didn't know what to do. Like I kind of just tossed it. I just thought either team could win this one, and I couldn't pick between the two. So it was heads, it was Harmony and Chaos, tails, it was Gravity. I'm sorry, Orsted.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, Orson. I'm kind of throwing you under the bus here, buddy. But Beth, what are you thinking? You said 3-1 Harmony.
Yeah, for me, it might have been a little bit of recency bias since I had to review the Harmony and Chaos Aimbots game from this week. And Harmony and Chaos, they just look so scary. Like their coordination on them, their ult usage, just their DPS tanks supports everything, just works together so well that I just had to give it to them.
Orson, quick question.
Yep.
Are you playing this week?
I am.
You are? Ooh, okay. I changed mine to 3-2 Harmony and Chaos in that case then.
What the heck?
The rest of us didn't get this information.
Bring it to that.
No. It's just it's not a shot on Gravity. I just think this is Harmony and Chaos's statement game where they say, yeah, we've had an easy schedule to here. We have the hardest schedule moving forward, but we can beat these guys. And I think Harmony and Chaos is going to go into this match with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, because some people might be saying that about them, that they've had an easy go of it lately, and they haven't played the Gravities, the Otakus. They haven't played these teams yet. So now they will.
Illusion.
Oh, Illusion as well. Sorry. Illusion's next week for them.
Thank you, Nick.
They're not next week, the following week. So, just again, I don't know. I think they're playing with a chip on their shoulder, but we'll see. And I think you might sandbag a little, Orsted. Are you going to sandbag this time?
Sandbag? What is the sandbagging you speak of?
No,
I don't think I know.
Next, we're going to go to Liquid Nova and Fighting Potatoes here. We have a lot of Liquid Nova love in here, and I am still not giving up on the Fighting Potatoes. I have them winning a 3-2 here because I still just believe strongly in Sneaky Kittens getting that team together. And I think this is their week, and I think they realize that. They're going up against a team that hasn't had the success of a lot of other teams in the community, and I just think that if they're going to win, this is the week they're going to win. If they don't win this week, I don't know if they can the rest of the season. I really don't. Speaking honestly there. So I think the troops are going to be rallied, and I want to believe that they can do it. I really do. I think this is the week that we see T Leo from that team pop off in a big way, and I think he is going to be the driving force that leads that team to win. But I want to hear what Thug has to say about it. You went 3-1 Liquid.
Prove it. Potatoes got to prove it, man. We've been saying this for a long time. Now it's your turn. Mm-hmm. We've been repping the potatoes with all the potato love all the time. Show up this time. This is your time to show up and let us cheer. Let us rejoice for you. Please. We want it. Nothing against Liquid Nova. I love you guys. You guys are fantastic. This is gonna be a good match, and 3-1's probably not as close as it's gonna be. I just didn't feel like writing 3-2 again. I still think Liquid Nova's going to pull it off.
Mm-hmm.
But Potatoes have to prove it, man.
They sure do. Nick, I'll go to you as well. I want to hear one more person on this one.
I still believe in Liquid Nova. I can't not put faith in my man player, Kraken.
Yeah.
Having played with him last season, I know what he's capable of. They're gonna find a way to turn something around. This might be the game that they do it. This, I think, has to be the game that they do it. But I still have faith in him.
Okay, so we'll see how that one turns out here. Liquid Nova, the clear favorite going in, though. Meta Rejects and Illusion, again, another big match this week. We're split. Obviously, me and Nick not voting here. I just didn't want to write another 4-0 is the main problem.
See, you know what's up.
You mean for Illusion, right?
I don't know. I mean, I don't reveal who I'm picking when I'm involved in the team because I don't believe in showing bias. But I mean, I just want to point out that I'm feeling pretty strongly about this week, but we'll see how it goes. It's gonna be a fun match either way. I'm excited to play Illusion.
It will.
I'm excited to play Illusion. I played them on the Fighting Potatoes and we got rolled, and I feel like things will be different this time, but we'll see what happens. So, that said, we have some actual predictions from people who aren't us. Beth, you went 3-2 Meta Rejects.
I did. So I have a lot of faith in the Meta Rejects as a whole. I think that Kingdom's really bringing the team together a lot.
Mhm.
And I think that because Peters been out the last couple of weeks, or am I crazy?
Freedom, or I'm sorry, Horace?
Last week.
Yeah.
Horace has
He was
been
out
out
last
for
week?
2 weeks. He's been out for 2
For
weeks.
2 weeks.
Yep.
Okay, is he coming back this week?
Yes,
then?
he's expected to be back. Yes.
So having him in will definitely make this a much closer matchup. So I think it's going to be pretty close in the end, but I picked Meta Rejects to win it.
Now, Thug, you went 4-0 Illusion. Can you explain to everybody what your bullshit reasoning is?
No bias, by the way.
It's Illusion. You guys have got exposed, bruh. I mean,
Peter's back is all I'm saying.
Okay, all I'm saying is y'all got fucking exposed. Illusion is just hungry as shit. Watch out. It's a 4-0. It's I'm not even gonna say it's gonna be a close 4-0. It's a 4-0.
All right, put that one, clip that Meta Rejects, put that on the bulletin board.
Meta Rejects. Put it on the bulletin board. Take a pin, kick me out of Discord. Do what you need to
We're
do.
gonna go now to Meteors and Alt F4. Now Alt F4, not really been a favorite all season, but the predictions look a little bit different now after showing up as big as they did against Otaku guys. And we see a clean sweep in the predictions here for Alt F4. Myself going 4-0 for Alt F4. And I'm gonna say this. I didn't pick one of O-Story's 4 plays that he sent me.
He's gonna be pissed.
I know, he is pissed. I saw it in the chat. He is pissed at me. But I'm going to say something here. O-Stories is an incredible player, but I think the keys to victory for Alt F4 lie on 2 people. Silent Monkey and Godspeed.
Easy.
Godspeed is so good. He plays so many things so well. His Genji is nutty. He plays so well on the snipe. He's playing out of his mind right now. Like O-Story Sombra was incredible against Otaku, but frickin' Godspeed is playing out of his mind right now. Can we please give some love to that guy? I don't know how we could possibly do it anymore. He is flexible. He's getting stuff done. He communicates well. He is just in their faces doing it well. And Godspeed is the fucking man. So anyways, and then Silent Monkey, of course. Silent Monkey out-tanked Yojak. And pretty convincingly. So, just saying, Silent Monkey, like that team is pretty insane right now. Nick, you picked 3-2 here. You picked a little bit closer.
Yeah, I think Alt F4 is going to be able to ride on that huge win from last season.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to bring that momentum into this week. They will win it. It will be close. It will be 3-2. Meteors just have too many good players on their team as well to not think that they'll be able to compete. I mean, we're talking about Silent Monkey, but HQC is one of the top main tanks as well. That's going to be a fun matchup to watch, but it'll be close, but Alt F4 is going to take it.
Fair.
Yeah, and Gilm's making the point of pointing out who they all have on their team. I noticed in chat, Arise, Dally, Time, /Emarosa. Yeah, no, it's interesting. Anyways, Orsted, I want to hear what you have to say about this one.
Ooh. This is actually like one of the hardest ones.
Forget Tim's on the team. Pretend
Forget
Tim's
on this
Tim
team.
is not on the team.
Yeah,
Tim,
don't worry about Tim.
what do you mean? Don't worry about Tim. Tim is like incredible.
That's why I said don't worry about him.
Okay, what about I?
Take a
Okay,
stand.
okay. When's Fossil suspension over? That's important.
He's off suspension. There's one.
He's
week.
off suspension,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know if he's
Fossil,
losing.
Fossil is free,
and
but who knows if he's playing.
Fossil is free, and
Free
we also
Fossil.
have a Rise, and their tank line with HQC is very, very good.
Mhm.
I think Meteors will actually beat Alta 4. Alta 4 are going to be high off their win against Otaku. They're going to be sloppy in the first few matches and maybe drop a map or two. They're going to try and like come back, like, you know, sharpen up, but Meteors are just going to have the momentum. It's going to be 3-1 Meteors.
Gotta buck the trend a little bit here. For me, it's always with Meteors, which team shows up. It's just kind of, is it the toxic team who doesn't coordinate well, or is the team that's firing on all cylinders all the time? So we'll see. That's kind of what it boils down to with Meteors. Huge match for playoff implications, by the way. Both these teams are right near that 10th place cutoff. Whoever wins this one puts themselves in prime position to go the rest of the season. Second to last match here is Omnic Turtles versus Wrecking Crew. We're a little bit split on this one. And it looks like we have... I myself went 4-0 Turtles. Again, this is just because I have a ton of faith in Gab right now. I really do. I just think that he is a really good leader, and I think he's a really good player, and I think he's... It's just the team is going to click. It's just a matter of when. They might not make the playoffs this season. You know, they're almost out of contention right now, and you know that is what that is. But I think it's just hard for me to bet against Gab and PC. You know, PC Scrub has a lot of things going for Wrecking Crew right now. Wrecking Crew is really making some changes. It's benefited that team a lot. I'm sorry, they're 2-7 or they're 2-8 right now. But it's just for me, it's tough with that team because they're tough to judge because there has been so much change on that team on a consistent basis. It feels like the entire roster is different than day one. For the better? Yeah, I think so. But at the same time, like there's just been so many changes. It's hard for me to judge Wrecking Crew. I'm not saying count them out by any means, but I just have this weird feeling like this is going to be an Omnic Turtles win. Beth, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, so for this one, I just kind of had to go based on how the teams have been playing up to this point, I guess. Wrecking Crew's 5-5. Omnic Turtles has only gotten 2 wins under their belt. And just based on that alone, I think that Wrecking Crew is going to take this week. We haven't played Omnic Turtles yet, so I don't have a whole lot of experience with that team, but that's what I went with.
All right. And our final match of the week is the rematch of the preseason tournament championship. It was a lot of fun watching that, guys. We saw Otaku take that one down. Otaku has been at the top of the mountain all season, recently faltering, and obviously with the change to the roster, who knows what's going to happen. Feature match on Saturday evening, guys. A lot to look forward to there. Make sure you tune in for that. Should be a lot of fun to watch that one. We have split choices here, and the first one I want to go to is actually Orsted, not here. But Orsted, what do you have to say?
Oh, not another hard one. Oh my goodness. So, I still think Otaku is a really strong roster. They're gonna be fine. Freedom did work, but without him, it's not hopeless.
Mm-hmm.
I think composition wise, Otaku has a lot more practice on varying different comps. In Sugar Rush, I know they really like that for DPS. In my mind, I can't remember them really running anything but it. So I think if Otaku just finds that right composition and they get some momentum going, they'll take it. So I'll probably say 3-2 Otaku.
I think it's going to be an interesting one. I can see what you're getting at here without them having freedom. I see what you're saying. I myself went 3-1 Sugar Rush. I kind of want to hear what everybody has to say here. Nick, you went 3-1 Otaku.
Yeah, I don't think the loss against Alta Force is going to slow them down.
Mm-hmm.
Losing freedom's big. It's unfortunate. Evo.
The artist formerly known as Freedom.
Yeah.
The artist formerly.
He's a really good player. He brought a lot to the team, but I think Smugs is just as good. They just have too many good pieces to not win this. I think Sugar Rush is slumping. I don't know. It's hard for me to bet against Otaku, even after the loss, even after Evo moving on.
Thug, you went 3-2 Sugar Rush here.
Yeah, this was a tough one, and I kind of echo what Or says. This is really it was a difficult match to kind of predict. I'm going to be looking at Otaku had a smaller roster to begin with, and dropping one of their main DPS players. It's going to be interesting comm-wise. We'll see what happens with it. Smugs is phenomenal. Yojak is phenomenal. My boy Flufflepuffs, top 5 name in Overwatch Tranquility community. Flufflepuffs, crazy good. Yeah, I went Sugar Rush. I know they're trying to regain their form. I feel like Otaku's going to be reeling a little bit. They're going to come out angry. They might come out a little, I have to hard carry. I have to do this. So I think they're going to get sloppy right away. They'll tighten it up, win 2 after the halftime, but then Sugar Rush can come back and win.
And Beth, you went 3-2 on the outside of Otaku.
I did. So Otaku's still a really strong team. Like, even with a little bit of team turnover and even with their loss last week, I still think that they're up at the top of the rankings for a reason. The reason I made it, I guess, a little bit closer is probably because they might have like a little bit of shakeup. They might have lost some of their confidence after that last win. Loss. We'll just have to see on that. Another thing is Sugar Rush is obviously known for running their quad DPS, and Otaku's really known for running their dive. And I feel like dive is a pretty good counter to quad DPS, so it'll be interesting to see what kind of shakes up with that. But that's one of the reasons I put Otaku going up over Sugar Rush.
A lot to look forward to this week, guys. There's a lot of exciting matches coming up here. I would encourage you guys to all tune in for that feature match. It's going to be a lot of fun. With that, that's all the prediction, guys. Be sure to make sure to call us out individually for every decision we made today. We definitely appreciate the PMs.
DMs are open.
We definitely appreciate the DMs, PMs, tweets, and shout outs on your stream whenever we are wrong. So that said, guys, we're going to go ahead and close it out now. We ran a little long today, but it was a lot of fun. Special thanks, Orsted, showing up here on the fly.
Yes, Orsted!
Yes, Orsted is awesome.
Gotta bring
Happy to be here. Thank you for listening to me. Rant on.
It was awesome. Special thanks, Nick, Beth, Thug, as always, and myself. Thank you all very much for watching, and for everybody here at the Tranquility community. We will see you next week.
Doses.
Experience tranquility.